Well, hello everyone! It's still spooky season and I've got another spooky palette for you today. But first, I want to show you my entire haul from Nomad Cosmetics and what we have to play with. So first of all, Nomad has some really great sales right now. I will put all the information down in the description. And one of the sales is they have 3 of their palettes on sale for a deal. So they have 3 palettes, the Royal Europe, and that palette has super pretty jewel tones. So let's open that up. Ooh. And the palette itself has like a texture to it where it looks like cut out gems on top of plastic. We have a little piece of plastic protection there. And then a full mirror, and look at these jewel tones. They're gorgeous. I will do some swatching and some quick eye looks with these in some shorts. The second palette that came in that set for sale is called the Chicago Speakeasy. Now, I am a city girl. I grew up in Philadelphia. And I will say that Chicago is probably my second favorite city beyond Philadelphia. I have to be prejudiced to Philadelphia. It's my home. But this Chicago is a great city. It's got so much culture and the architecture is beautiful. It brings back feelings of the roaring 20s, and I mean 1920s, not the 20s that we're in right now. They're roaring in a different way right now. But this palette has like a little velvety touch to it. And then it has this Art Deco type of design on the front. Wait till you see what this looks like inside. Very muted, pretty cool tone neutrals with a pop of green. It represents the Speakeasy Absinthe. Very nice. Have you guys tried absinthe? I've never tried it. It is legal now to have it because they purify it a certain way, but it's made out of something called wormwood, which can have a quite poisonous effect if you're not careful. And then the next one I'm really excited about is called New Zealand Stargazing, and again, it's jewel tones. This palette, look at the night sky from New Zealand. Now, my husband was born in New Zealand and grew up in New Zealand and Australia, so this palette really also has some significance to me. And this one has much more blues and purples with also some neutrals, neutral grays. Look at that pretty color story. So I definitely will be playing with these in the near future. So look out for that content soon. But it's Halloween week, so let's play with something a little spooky. And unfortunately, I missed it, but Nomad was also having a sale on their earlier released Halloween palette, and I missed that one. And I missed the one from last year as well, but I got this one, and it's Witch City Salem. And it has a lenticular cover. It's a smoky gray cover. And on the back, I have to show you this, it's got a little witch hat. And the box itself also has the witch hat on it. These palettes all have the colors on the back. They are labeled as, color palettes, not eyeshadow palettes, but you can use them on your eyes, just some of them may stain. Now, Nomad, I don't know if you know, usually uses locations as a theme for all of their palettes, and this one is based on Salem, Massachusetts, and on the back here it says, the destination is Salem, Mass, which isn't too far from where I am, and I've been there before. The coordinates are the witch house. Woo! And the inspiration is a classic Halloween, or a Halloween classic. And what it says is spooky season is here. I told you spooky season was here. Why don't you believe me? You have to get Nomad to confirm it. Spooky season is here, and no better place to experience this favorite American celebration than in iconic Salem, Massachusetts. With ghost tours through cobblestone streets and haunted happenings of epic proportions and an infamous past, and I'll tell you a little bit as we play with this palette, with bone-chilling events, the Witch City is a spectacular place to create an alchemy of fun. Festive and good old spooky Halloween. So grab your book of spells, chant some hocus pocus, and join us for a classic Halloween celebration. That's very nice. So again, let's look at the outside of the palette with that lenticular cover. It has the witch house on there, and then also has the witches in front of the witch house. And if you go to Salem, you will see lots of witch tours. There's a lot of mediums you can go visit. There's a lot of Salem museums that have different things on witches and pirates and how Salem was formed and all that good stuff. Let's look at the inside of this palette, and it has the cutest little imprints on it. It has not only a Halloween pumpkin jack-o'-lantern imprint, but a bat and a witch. So we have a lot of different things representing Halloween here. It has an arched back cat. Oh, it doesn't have a witch, but it has the witch. Oh, it does have a witch. The witch house. It has a cauldron. Really pretty stuff. I'm going to have to mess it up to swatch it. But let's go ahead. There looks like there's 9 mattes and 9 shimmers. So let's go ahead and swatch those. And it looks like you can use them in coordinates of 6. So they're very pretty. Let's do the orange and green coordinate first. We have Witching Hour, which, very soft. Very soft, shimmery orange with a lighter reflect. Haunted Happenings, which is an orange matte. Salem Willows, again, very soft. It has an M on there. And Dark Demons, which is a bright green. There are those 4 for you. The next 2 in that 6-part are Witch Hunt, which is a pine green shimmer. Maybe not as soft as the others, but very pretty. And 7 Gables, which is a really dark brown. Up at the next 6, we have Harvest Moon, which is a dark orange shimmer, very chrome-like. And a taupe called, I can't read that, let's see. The taupe is called Spirits and Spells. That's a really cool taupey color. I like that. It's in between gray and brown, which is what taupe is. The next 4 colors are The Crucible, which is the book that is written about the Salem witch trials, and Devil's Book, Dark Deep Burgundy, Howling Halloween, which I really enjoy this color. It's a brown with a little bit of a red reflect, and Hocus Pocus, which is a deep wine color. Okay, we're in the final 6 here, and there are some pretty grays in this row as well as purples. And you know I love a good purple, so let's see. Okay, the first color looks like a pewter, which I want to say it might be holographic. It's very pretty. But it's very sparkly pewter. Witchcraft, which is a very light dove gray. Gallows Hill, ooh, that's purple with a little bit of a reflect. And Salem Commons, which is a dark purple. Those four. I really like that dove gray. I think I'm going to play with that one. And then two colors left, which is the darkest shimmery purple called Rope's Mansion. And finally a black, because you can't have Halloween without that black, called Witch City. And is that black really black? Yes, it is. And that purple has like a smoke gray undertone to it too, so it's very deep, the sparkly purple. You'll see that in a minute. I'm going to take this and show it to you on my arm, and then we will play with this as well as put on the rest of my face. And you can see how beautiful that color story is. It's very Halloween. It's got the orange, red, purple, and black. And even a little bit of bright, bright green. I mean, you can't beat this color story for Halloween. This is a Halloween palette. So Salem's a really interesting place. The whole witch frenzy, and I'm going to call it a frenzy, was started by teenage girls who, of course, teenage girls at that time were considered of marrying age, so, you know, they were considered almost adults at that point. And they weren't good girls. They were a little naughty, and they would go out and play in the woods and, you know, pretend that they were chanting or dancing and things that weren't really part of Puritan society. Now, how the witch trials got started, though. So what they did, these girls, was they started rumors to blame someone else for their bad behavior. And what this led to was, like I said, almost like a feeding frenzy with these Puritans, where they had trials, the Salem witch trials, and they found quite a few innocent people guilty of things such as adultery, and because one girl was pretending, I think she was sick or something like that, but she wasn't really sick, and then she got better. They were saying that the person that attended to her was a witch. And then the witches, it was kind of like the modern Red Scare in, I think it was in the 40s, when they would ask the witches, just like they asked the Hollywood stars at that time, to name other witches. So they got a whole bunch of these innocent women and even a few men and accused them of witchcraft, and they really didn't get any defense, to be fair, and they basically just were labeled as witches. And then the witches were hung. So there was no burning of witches in America. That's a myth, but they were hung. And the witches themselves became like an infamous stain on Salem. One poor man, he was not hung, but instead, and I believe he's the one that was accused of adultery with one of the witches, one of the supposed witches. This man, he was actually put under a whole bunch of planks and like a door, and they piled bricks and more wood on top of him until it basically crushed him to death. That is a horrible way to go. And so that's where all the Salem witch trials came from. Now it's like cool to pretend you're a witch. But back then, if you did anything that was out of the ordinary as a woman, you could be labeled a witch. If you had your own opinion, if you decided that religion wasn't for you, if you did somehow have adultery, which, I'm not saying is good or bad, but, that would automatically label you as a witch. And the price for that was often death or a trial, which in proving your innocence would cause your death. So there was no winning, really. Okay, so let's play with this palette. I just put on my base, and I used my favorite House Labs in the shade 160 Light Neutral. I also used some of this Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Gloss in the color Velvet from Lawless. I like their lip plumpers. They do have a little bit of heat, but not bad. And I don't mind heat. So if you do mind heat, this might not be for you, but I enjoy them. The only thing I would say is get a full size one of these. Don't get the sample like 3-pack because it's hard to get the liquid out of the bottle with the doe foot. Okay, what colors do we want to use? I think I'm going to use this bright green. You know what? Yeah, I think I'm going to use the bright green and the orange. And maybe some gray in the background. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to prime my eyes first. Using my Sigma eye primer. I've come to really enjoy this. It's a little like thick. Not thick, but it's like very waxy. It's almost like using an eyeshadow crayon to prime your eyes. I'm sorry, I say the word crayon like crown. So if you hear that, I mean crayon. And this color is like skin color. So when you put in, you could use this as a base for anything. So let's start with this light gray called Witchcraft. Ooh, it's so pretty. I do like grays. And let's go in also with the color Spirits and Spells, which is that taupe color. And I wasn't really happy with the way that showed up on the... And that's just going to blend in with that. And then I think what I'll do is take the green Dark Demons, the bright, bright green, and put it right here. And because green and purple go really well together, I'm just going to take the other side of that brush, and I'm going to go into the wine color, Hocus Pocus. I'm going to do it in a wedge. That's going on beautifully. It's very, very pigmented. And I'm just going to blend that out a little bit. To brighten it up just a little bit, I'm going to take Devil's Door and put some red right on top of that. And I'm not really liking this look so far, so maybe I'll take the really dark purple. Yeah, that's better. That looks more Halloween-y. And you'll see, I have a lot of fallout on my cheek right now. One thing I will say about Nomad's formula, and it is not my favorite formula, and it's simply because of this. It is very soft. Their formula is very soft mattes, and they do tend to have lots of fallout. But we'll fix it. And I'm just blending right now to get that purple all in my corner. And blow it out a little bit on the side. I'm going to take some more of the gray and put that here. See how pigmented they are? It's like really getting everywhere. So, oh God. And I will be touching up my makeup. So definitely for Nomad, do not put your base on before you do your eyeshadow. I'm just going to blend with a clean brush. And put a little bit more green in here to brighten it up again. And then, because I want to use the orange too, I'm going to go under my eye with the orange. And then we'll have a full Halloween look. Maybe we'll put a little red. I'm mixing the orange with the red just to make it a little bit brighter. Okay, now we need some shimmers. We definitely need some shimmers. So what I think I'm going to do is take this light green here. This is called Salem Willows. Maybe it's the woods where those girls were playing. Those bad girls. And you know, really, they were just being stupid teenagers, but they made a mess, didn't they? And then I'm going to take Gallows Hills and put that in the middle, kind of. And then I'm going to take Rope's Mansion, which is the really dark purple, and put that in the corner. And that's what that looks like. But, of course, I have to put some shimmer underneath too, so let's put some shimmer, light orange, or no, let's use the bright orange. And put that under here. Look how Halloweeny I look. It's really good. I'll put this on because I need to see what I'm doing and my hair keeps falling in my eyes. And then I'm going to take the very light orange and use Witching Hour and pop that in the inner corner. Okay, so that's the look on the one eye. I'm going to fix my base and make it the same on the other eye, and then I am going to put on some blush and stuff, and we will come back and talk about this look. Okay, I'm going to show you how I clean this up real quick. I did wipe away some of the fallout, and I'm just putting a touch of concealer in places that need concealer, as well as where I rubbed off my foundation. So, and we'll just use this concealer brush here. And when you're doing like a line like this, the best way is just to grab it and pull it down so that you don't inadvertently mess up your makeup again. So. And it'll blend. It will blend in. For some blush, I have from Lethal Cosmetics my Marceline the Vampire Queen black blush, and it comes out purple, so I'm really excited about this. And it is like a creamed powder. So I'm just going to take a blush brush and dab it in like this and just pat it on my cheek. Ooh, so purple. And then we have to blend and blend and blend and blend and blend to get that witchy look. I mean, she is a vampire queen. I mean, you can't blame her for having this black to purple look. And look how easily that blends. I will link the Lethal stuff down below too, because they finally figured out their tariffs, and I don't think you would have to pay the exorbitant price that I paid for this collection. And there are some things left from the collection. I love the Adventure Time. And the fact that it's like a purpley blush is going to cover up any fallout that I might have missed. So we got that. Okay, we need some highlighter. I'm going to use this About Face highlighter. It's in a pinky color. I'm just going to go over it with the same brush that I used for the blush. And I don't feel like this lipstick is the right color. What do you guys think? I'm going to look for another color, and I will be back momentarily, and I'll tell you what that color is. So the color I chose is from the Alice in Wonderland Sigma collection, and I love these purpley sparkly kind of colors, so we're going to use that. Let's try it out. That's better, don't you think? I'm just going to go in with my NYX eyebrow brush to make sure my eyebrows look nice and fluffy. And as even as I can get them, I think one of my eyebrows is a little bit higher than the other one. But that's just the asymmetry of life. Let's use some gel from Kosas to sweep them up. And I'm going to let them look a little crazy too. I have like some hairs that are just a little long. Why not emphasize that? Back in the 80s, we never plucked our eyebrows. We just let them grow in and went with that. And that was the Brooke Shields look, and we loved it. It was very convenient because you didn't have to do anything. And then they went from that to like the pencil thin eyebrows of the 90s. Anyway, let me zoom in so you guys can see this final eye look. I really like how it turned out. Actually, I might put on a little bit of this. Yeah, to go with it, I'm going to use this NYX eyeliner in Raven, which is from the Wednesday collection. Let's do that, and then I'll zoom in and you guys can tell me what you think. Oh, I need some mascara too, don't I? So when you put on these liquid liners, don't close your eyes for a little bit until it sets. One eye always looks better than the other eye, but you can't really help that. So I'm going to let that dry, put on some mascara, and I will be right back zoomed in so you can see the final look. Okay, here's the final look. So here's what I used for you guys. For blush, I used that Marceline, the Vampire Queen blush. Love this blush. It is very pigmented though, so use it with a cautious hand. Otherwise, you'll wind up very bright and very vampire-y, I guess. It's a pretty blush though. And then I used the About Face highlighter in Light Lock. Is that what it's called? In Reflective Liquid. I don't know what is the name of it, but I will put it down in the description. And it's pretty. It's a nice liquid highlighter, not my favorite, but still good. And then you guys saw me put on the Sigma Alice in Wonderland gloss, but I put a little bit, I couldn't help myself, and I had to put a little bit of Trichrome from the Trapped collection from Gourmand Girls in the center of my lips, and then just let it diffuse out. I think that looks a lot better. And I used the Conjuring face powder. It's a setting powder that's like a cream to powder. I'm loving this. And it is really mattifying my face, and it's really is good to help blend away some of that extra blush if you get too much. But I think the star of the show is the palette. I did use this to just make it even a little bit more vampy, and I used my mascara from ColourPop as well, the Level Up Lengthening Mascara, which is not my favorite lengthening mascara, but it did the trick. So what do you guys think? Do you like this look? Is it very Halloween-y? Do I look like a witch? Do I need a witch hat? Do I need a broom? Hopefully I don't look like a hag and I look more like a hot witch, but we'll see. Anyway, tell me what you think. Are you guys doing anything fun for Halloween? I think I'm going to be going to a work party, and I might show up as Doodle Bob. I love Halloween. I love getting dressed up, and I always like to do something a little creative. So Doodle Bob is a work-safe costume as well. Anyway, if you think about it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe? You'll get my videos that way, and you can catch up with what I'm doing. And I would love to hear more about you, so leave a comment down below. My dog is now making lots of noise. I will put some pictures of her up in the corner so you can see what my doggy looks like, Nutmeg Tuna Salad. And I will talk to you all very soon. Be happy, don't be sad. Bye!